More about these storms that made their way across the state again over the weekend.
Yeah, some moved out as fast as they moved in. All right, take a look here. We have central and Wyoming and Albuquerque, where there was a lot of standing water, a lot of splashes going around yesterday. You know, moments before this, there was barely a trickle on the road and in this arroyo. It's near I-40. Storms upstream quickly changed that, even though it wasn't necessarily raining right here. You did need the wipers running on a high to keep the windshield clear here on I-25. We got great pics of Rio Rancho near Unser and Southern, where off-road rigs came across a flash flood. All right, all other news this morning, Los Lunas police need your help to find a killer who shot and killed a man after an argument at a convenience store. Early yesterday morning, Los Lunas police found Charles Davlin dead in an area off Los Lentes Road. Police talked with people who saw what happened and say Davlin's group got into an argument with another group at an Allsups. Then Davlin's group took off.
These suspects followed them throughout the area of Carson Park here, and at one point while on Carson Boulevard, they heard a window shatter in the back of their vehicle and what they thought were gunshots.
And it wasn't until after they drove away they realized that Davlin had been shot. Police are now looking for a tan-colored SUV, either a Ford or a Chevy. They say it had 2 young men and 2 young women in it at the time. And a 62-year-old man is in jail in Taos after a deadly shooting there. The Taos News says Mikole Sopin is now charged with murder in the death of Amber Haba. She was found dead inside of a home in Taos Friday night.
An accused murderer who reportedly escaped from the Roosevelt County Jail is now facing more charges. Officials say Sinovio Mendoza was on a work detail this month when he used a pickaxe to attack a guard. The jail director says Mendoza then took off in the guard's car. He was caught a few hours later. Mendoza was being housed in Roosevelt County because of overcrowding in Eddy County. Roosevelt County's jail director says they were unaware Mendoza was an accused murderer. Had they known, the jail director says Mendoza would have never allowed to be on work detail. The jail director says when they got Mendoza's file from Eddy County, the murder charge was not included.
Without that information, like I say, we were unable to fully do our job on our end, and I guess, you know, in a roundabout way, we did assume. We have learned a great deal from that assumption.
The director says they're redoing their contracts with other counties. They will also be conducting more in-depth background checks themselves. The immigration crisis is now officially in the hands of Congress.
And the House and the Senate are now deciding if they want to give President Obama the $3.7 billion he is asking for. The president wants the money to pay for things such as more immigration judges and centers to care for the tens of thousands of women and children here illegally, including the federal facility here in New Mexico in Artesia. Some Republicans in the House say there's too much money to spend without first securing the border.
Direct them to send those 1,000 National Guard troops, because that will send the quickest message that this border is secure. And if we start securing the border, all of these issues that are facing us begin to dwindle.
The White House says it knows the president's spending package faces a tough battle on Capitol Hill. Well, people in Albuquerque are pitching in, hoping to make a difference in the lives of some of those immigrants down in Artesia.
It's quickly become apparent that this is a humanitarian crisis and that the children are refugees.
This weekend, Anita Amstutz asked folks at the Albuquerque Mennonite Church to donate things to help particularly the kids down south. So they stuffed 2 cars full of everything from diapers to canned food and clothes. It's all going to the Catholic Diocese of Las Cruces, which has been taking in some of the children. Volunteers will be picking up the goods today at the Quaker Church at 6th and Bellama. They're looking for things including rice, beans, tortillas, milk, and toiletries. Meanwhile, Customs in Mexico is defending its decision to drastically reduce hours at the Santa Teresa port of entry that borders with New Mexico. Mexico says it'll help streamline the flow of international trade. So far, it's just led to some major traffic gridlock, with some people saying they had to stay overnight just to get across the border. All right. It is a dark history for some people in New Mexico, and for folks here, some of them don't even know about it. Yeah, 4 confinement camps from Santa Fe to Lincoln County, where the Department of Justice held Japanese Americans captive during World War II. While some of it is taught in schools,
You've probably passed by the exact locations of some of these camps and didn't even know it. But one group wants to change that. You see, some of it is private land now. Other spots have been turned into suburban developments. And now funding for a new project led by a Colorado professor will increase awareness by posting historic markers at sites and creating a website. Spearheading the effort, a partnership between the New Mexico chapter of the Japanese American Citizens League and the Public Lands History Center out of Colorado State University.
Our project wants to make that history a little bit more visible. And we also think that it's just an important topic of conversation in our current sort of political climate.
The project is funded by a nearly $200,000 grant by the National Park Service. It is set to kick off in about 18 months.